Hello and welcome to the first Cherish Ball Division interview. This is something we're doing as kind of a Meet the Champions thing for the upcoming Cherish Ball Division in the Silph Co Draft Association. This is, again, interview number 1, and I am joined by some rat that we found outside, and we came in to give shelter to. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Slickninja. I am the brother of Spades here, as you
Yeah,
could tell by the glorious introduction I was just given.
yeah, this is my real life brother. I actually have a brother, believe it or not, and another one. The other one is off and about, though. He
Nobody cares.
nobody cares about him. So, how are you doing?
Uh, you know, just just waiting for time to pass.
Waiting for time to pass. Hey, waiting for the division to start. You've
Oh
been
yeah.
out of it for a
Oh yeah.
while, so this will be a
Yeah,
fun
I
refresher for you.
I retired after my
Figured,
glorious
and
spin.
then he Tom Brady'd and came right out of retirement.
More like Brett Favre. More like
Okay,
Brett Favre.
sure, we'll go Brett Favre. All right, so I have a list of questions for you. It's going to be pretty standard. The first one, why don't you introduce yourself with your name, where you're from, and what you do for a living or what you plan on doing in your case?
Yeah, like I said, my name is John. It's Jonathan. I go by John. Grew up in Pennsylvania, and in about 4.5 years' time, I will be a Penn State graduate with an electrical engineering degree. So
Penn
that's kind of
State,
the
good
goal.
good school. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
No bias from me at all. So, I think I know this answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. How did you get into Pokemon in general, competitive Pokemon? What kind of
Uh,
led you to
so
follow down, I guess is the word.
yeah, regular Pokemon just, I guess, growing up with the Game Boy and having Pokemon Leaf Green, just playing that as much as I could. And then I came home from school one day and you asked me to to pick a team for you to use on your competitive on the game. And then I started getting more into like EVs and moves and IVs and natures and everything, and it kind of just spiraled into like playing competitive.
Yeah, it was just a nice like little sucky in. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh look, there's so much depth to this game. Did that surprise you to know like how
Uh,
deep like competitive Pokemon
yeah.
is?
I was always just a casual player before that, more of like just pick the move with the highest base power and not really worry about like how much attack something had or how much special attack something had or if I should be using a special move against a certain Pokemon. It was more It's actually surprising to see how much goes into each individual move, each individual mon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's infinite possibilities as far as even just a
Yeah.
singular Pokemon, let alone the team construction as a whole. And yeah, it's very intriguing to jump right into those. Nice little puzzle to solve, I guess. Did you have a what was your favorite Pokemon to use like in competitive at the time, like when you first started?
First started probably would have been Gastrodon, because Blue Gastrodon, best Gastrodon, and
Oh no, we don't
I
need
don't
the
know,
Gastrodon War already.
and Water Ground. I mean, very good type as long as grass isn't meta, and you can really dominate games with it, I think. And it's a very versatile mon as well. You can use it super bulky and try to make it last as long as possible, or you can go more special attack heavy and try to do as much damage as you can. So
Yeah, and also having a really nice ability that can not only like help itself but help your team like protected from water attacks. It's really nice.
and it's a really nice play around being able to like play a mind game with your opponent, sort of switching in and switching out at different times so they don't use water moves is always really, really helpful.
Yeah, and then if your opponent is going to like Dynamax, like Kingdra for example, they have to be weary that you could switch into Gastrodon and that whole shebang. So yeah, really cool. Gastrodon is a really cool mon. All right, to kind of the heart of this. How did you find out about SCDA or one of the servers that merged with it?
Um, so it would have been APDL, and I found out about APDL from you, just like after our first draft league that we did.
Yeah.
It was more of let's find another one, and then we joined the server, and then from there on, it's just been, I guess, hanging on for the ride.
Do you remember anything from that first draft league we played? It was called what was it, VPL?
Yeah, it was the VPL. I don't know what it stood
I
for,
think it was
but
Ventus Pokemon League.
it was
It was run by I think Lyric, if I remember correctly. That was so long ago.
was
That was yeah, our first draft. I finished second and you finished in the
I
quarters.
lost I lost in the first round of playoffs.
Well, we both lost to the eventual
Yes,
winner. You just
yes.
lost in quarters. I lost in the
And
finals.
this general tip for everyone to play draft: don't pick Ninetales Alola. That thing sucks.
We first picked Ninetales Alola thinking it was really strong, and it really wasn't.
Yeah.
What even carried your team that season? I don't remember.
Um,
Was it like Togedemaru
it
and
was
Riolu?
Duraludon, I think.
No, wait. No, you had Durant. I didn't know if you had Duraludon or not.
Yeah, I had Duraludon.
Oh, you had Mandibuzz as well. Your team was sweet.
Yeah, I made a lot of switches or changes, I think is the right word.
Yeah. That was a very fun first season though. And then yeah, after that we found an ad for APDL and then here we are. Now we have an S. What does the S stand for? I don't know. All right, so now we've found how you did. Let's move right into your team that you won in this era. I'll call it. So
Yeah.
you played APL Rillaboom, which is the highest skill division in season 3. So why don't you go ahead and give me kind of a feel of what the format was, your team, what you thought of the format, the players, just your overall
Yeah.
thoughts on Rillaboom
Um,
season 3.
so I don't know what series it was, but it was just one restricted
It was series
and
8.
yeah, series 8. And it was the season before I was in the Thwacky division, and I ended up getting second to Tough Luck, and that was more of forgetting to prep for one Mon. I don't remember what the Mon was, but that kind of
Gallade.
stuck with me. Gallade. It kind of stuck with me to like think of every possible option they could use and think of every possible option I could use, right? And that kind of led actually into the finals match where for the very first time I used Jellison in an offensive manner and it won me the game. So yeah, the team itself, like, had the second to last pick in the first round, and then Snake's back, so second pick in the second round. And I picked Rayquaza and Cinderace, just thinking, like, because I picked Rayquaza actually before I left school. I was just scrolling through because it was my pick, and I was like, well, that thing's really, really strong, so I picked it. And for some reason, a lot of people didn't like Rayquaza, and they talked a lot of bad things about Rayquaza, and that just made me like, I'm making this work. Everything I can is going to make Rayquaza shine in its like in its role, I guess. And yeah, Cinderace was just really, really powerful offensive. Mudsdale really, really powerful offensive. I didn't really use Ferrothorn, Acelgor, Meowth, Vikavolt, or Dratini, but they were just there. Um, yeah, Comfey was probably my favorite from this team just because of
Mm.
I don't know if anybody remembers my Choice Specs Comfey and my Life Orb
Oh,
Comfey,
that was so
but
beautiful.
both of those literally, first off, you catch your opponent off guard. Second off, I paired Life Orb Comfey, I gave it Helping Hand, and it was always next to Cinderace, and Cinderace would Helping Hand the Comfey, and then game three, I used Comfey Helping Hand Cinderace, and like flipped the script. So it
Yeah,
was
that
really,
was a
really
sweet
fun.
game. What the game you're talking about? You're facing a Palkia team, and
Yes.
your Life Orb Max Comfey with Helping Hand was kind of a mode for that. But then if he
Yes.
went Heatran, which is what he did in prior game or later
Yeah, we
games,
game two.
well,
Yes.
and game three, you decided. Well, in game three, you decided to say, "All right, I'm not maxing Comfey. I'm gonna max Cinderace this game," and that
Yeah.
ended up winning you the set. So
So like for the overall season itself, it was only the first 5 weeks that I actually tried, because that's all I necessarily needed to try. Um, I
you
was
went
5-0,
5-0, and then you like didn't
then
build a
I
team for the
used,
next 3 weeks.
yeah, I almost won week 8 with my week 1 team.
That's
I don't
crazy.
remember what the change was. I needed one specific move, and I would have won week 8 with my week 1 team. But yeah, and then into playoffs, it was more of, well, how can I use Rayquaza in a different way? How can I use my team in a different way that's unpredictable? And it really just became about Rayquaza using Icy Wind, just because speed control. That's that's all I can really say.
So I want to kind of go more into. So you played a Series 8 draft, and your restricted was Rayquaza. And you said a lot of people did not appreciate Rayquaza. What to you stood out that said, this is what I want to build my team around? This restricted.
Well, looking at it, its ability is very, very interesting for draft, right? Being able to turn off weather shuts down rain teams, shuts down sun teams, shuts down hail teams. I don't know who would create that, but they shut down hail teams, shut down sand teams. And like, because Charizard is very, very strong. There's Groudon that will do stuff. Even like Kingdra Politoed, you can't use. So it was more of, well, that and 150 attack and special attack. That's what I found the most interesting. Because being able to use extreme speed on a set and then also have special moves on the set, because it's that versatile. You can use it in so many different ways, and I think that's one of the more important parts of draft is how many different ways can you use your mon. And it turned out support Rayquaza was really good.
So Rayquaza wasn't necessarily your Dynamax threat on this team. It was more so just it's it's got a toolbox per matchup is how you kind of used
Yes.
it. Where like if I need to go special one week, or I need to go physical, or I need to go like the support one, like you said, Rayquaza can do that. And again, the ability shuts down a nice section of teams because there's always going to be a sun team, there's always going to be a rain team in draft. That's just how it is. And if you're able to say, "Hey, you don't get your rain. I'm good.
And
I'm chilling."
that also kills a lot of calcs as well, because you don't always
Mm-hmm.
calc for, like, if you need to max water Cinderace, you can't always do that if you're not in rain. Or like sometimes you forget about Swift Swim and you think you're going first, but you don't go first because it's off. So
Well, so what's funny is when you played this, Showdown still had the rain up, but now it's crossed out and like not up. It's
yeah,
really weird. But like I think when you played like in your semifinals match, I think was what I want to talk about because your opponent set rain and like the animation of rain showed, but Rayquaza says no, rain's not up. Showdown's lying to you, and your opponent did not know that because he forgot about Rayquaza's abilities. So,
it
but yeah,
happens.
that was really interesting. So this team worked out quite well for you. Again, 5-0 to start, and then the 3 off weeks, I will say, hit you into the third seed in the playoffs. I want to highlight, I guess, the Mudsdale Comfey, which was really good bread butter for you. Like there was
Yes,
you
I was.
played your quarterfinals match was solely won by Mudsdale, which to no one's surprise, it's a really good mon.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just want to know, like, as far as because you said Comfey was one of your favorite mons to use, is Mudsdale your ideal partner for it?
Um, Mudsdale, it's it's an ideal partner for Comfey, I think. It's not the best always because it's super slow, and like on a team like this, Trick Room wasn't always the best option
Mm-hmm.
because my only setters were Comfey, I think.
Jellison.
But oh, and Jellicent. But like, I mean, Mudsdale was very strong. But sometimes if there's an intimidate user or they just like spam parting shot, you can't always use it. So it's very situational. But in certain situations, like the the quarterfinal match, it can be really powerful and just take over games. So it's always a nice asset to have, and it's another thing to prep for. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say like your main two maxes when you played this was Cinderace and Mudsdale. Cinderace
yeah,
Clefairy was also really good for you. So like you basically played this team like a 6-mon team, except the one week you did bring me out the Lolo. That was pretty funny.
yeah.
I forget how you
Uh,
activated the. Oh, you Dragon
uh,
Kissed it. That's right.
yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but so it was a really solid performance from you that season. You played against a very tough opponent in the finals, but that opponent did not prep for Jellison at all, and now he's salty for the rest of
Yeah.
his life now that he lost to you, of all
Yeah.
people.
So I want to like touch on the Jellison thing because like again, I never used Jellison. I never touched Jellison. It didn't. It had maybe like 4 total games played throughout the entire season, and I whipped it out for the finals, and it turned out to be like the best decision I could have made, just because nobody's prepping for something you're never gonna bring, and
Yeah, if you looked
if
at
you
your
do bring it,
stats, it was
it
like all Rayquaza, Cinderace, and Clefairy, and then like Comfey and Mudsdale were sprinkled in, and then everything else
yeah,
had like nothing. It was really funny.
like a Volt Dratini, I don't think ever touched the field,
Did
so
Ferrothorn hit the field at all?
like twice.
Okay.
It was it was just there.
Yeah, you had it specifically for Kyogre, I remember. Because you would like just use the, I think it was Assault Vest you brought for that week or something, but just so you dealt with Kyogre.
Yeah, I think it was the only thing on my team that could actually kill the thing, so
Mm-hmm.
it kind of had to be there.
All right, so still regarding to this team, what did winning APDL Rillaboom mean to you?
Um, well, being able to beat the one and only Spades here was just funny, I think. More of that every single time that something like this gets brought up, it's always you lost to me. But like even after that, it's more of the feeling of working hard to achieve something and putting a lot of effort into achieve something, which sounds kind of weird because it's Pokemon, but I don't know. It just it, being able to make things work that shouldn't necessarily work is always an interesting thing for me. So
Yeah, and then actually this was your after the season is when you retired for the most
yeah,
part.
yeah, and it was also another like because I got second place the year before,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to actually know, oh, I'm good enough to win, I'm good enough to win, and then actually do it, it's more of like reassuring to
Mm-hmm. And especially
finally
in the
get it.
top division too. When I
Yes.
actually was a mod at the time and was arguing to put you back in the same division, that was a mistake. Should have put you back there so I could have won.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So we are going to head back to the Cherish screen. I have one final question for you, and it's kind of the road ahead for Cherish Ball. So entering this division with all these champions, what are you thinking? Like, what's what's going through your mind that you're playing in what's going to be the greatest and most competitive division of SCDA history?
Um, I I don't know. As long as like the skill cap is you, I think I'm going to be fine. But I mean, it's gonna have to definitely spend some time on it, thinking about matchups, running through scenarios in my head, running a bunch of calcs. It's been a while since I've ran a bunch of calcs, and like even thinking for the very first league we ever did, before every match I would open up like 7 different tabs in a damage calculator just so I had every single mon that I had on my team versus every single mon on the other team to make sure every move I was doing was the right move. And probably just having to put in more work more effort to beat the people here, I
Mm-hmm.
think,
And
compared
actually,
to
like, if I would say a message to people watching, how do you become a champion? I
be
think me and
unexpected.
you, what we did in the first league is was we set ourselves a great foundation. With
Yeah,
we did hours of mocks each week. We had several
it was
different
bad.
calcs open. Like we worked hard to get to where we were, and
Yeah. My team was the equivalent of the Detroit Lions, and I brought them to the playoffs. So, you know,
yeah, it was
yeah,
nice to see you get your win. From a brother standpoint, like I was still upset that I lost, but at the same time, you worked so hard and you absolutely deserve the win. I'm just glad that I was able to qualify for this myself in a different division.
yeah.
But again,
That's,
it was all the framework that we put in, all that foundation we built at the beginning for Pokemon VGC, all the mocks, all the calcs, and just learning and growing from all the experiences.
yeah.
That's about where we're at with that. So that's gonna wrap up uh, the interview. Uh, any closing remarks?
Yeah. So for the people that will be playing against me, I would very much appreciate it if I could get like Cinderace Clefairy, Comfey Mudsdale, something like that.
And
Um,
then just throw
you know,
Dragonite on instead of
that would be really really cool.
yeah,
Um,
throw Dragonite
uh,
instead of Rayquaza. It's the
Dragonite's just
same
a
one,
mascot.
right?
Dragonite's just there to look attractive. But also, what like when you do inevitably play me, try to be creative. Don't always do your main strat that you draft for.
No,
Try to just do something interesting.
I
I think it's more fun to work around like facing something you don't necessarily prep for and then have to change your entire plan. It's kind of interesting to be able to adapt it to that each time.
so you're recommending that I should out prep you?
Nobody's gonna out prep me.
Oh God. Well, that is going to do it for this Cherish Ball interview. The season is set to start uh, August 8th is the first day of the draft. So for those of you watching from the server on YouTube, be prepared. This is going to be a great season to watch. So from myself, Spades, and my brother, Slickninja, we will see you all next time.